Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Have you ever imagined that a simple 1-cent coin could turn into a life-changing fortune worth $350 million? The 2011 USA penny, which looks like just another coin in your pocket, has shocked the numismatic world and taken the spotlight as one of the most valuable and mysterious coins in American history. It's hard to believe that a piece of copper-plated zinc weighing only 2.5 grams could reach a value higher than some of the most iconic gold coins ever made, but this is no ordinary penny. This rare 2011 Lincoln cent carries errors, anomalies, and minting mysteries that have made collectors and treasure hunters across the globe scramble to check their change, hoping they might be holding one of the few examples worth millions. The Denver Mint, where this coin was struck, produced billions of pennies in 2011. However, somewhere in that massive production run, a batch of coins came out unlike anything else. Experts believe that a unique combination of minting errors, ranging from double die obverse and reverse issues to off-center strikes, die clashes, and even planchet composition mistakes, may have created a handful of coins so unusual that they became legends overnight. Imagine a penny showing a distorted image of Abraham Lincoln where his profile seems shadowed by a second faint image, creating a ghostly double portrait effect. Some 2011 coins exhibit this kind of double die error, especially around Lincoln's eyes, lips, and the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty." The doubling can be so pronounced that it almost appears as if two layers of design were struck on top of each other. These details, though tiny, turn an ordinary cent into an extraordinary piece of minting history. Another variety of 2011 penny features a striking misalignment known as an off-center strike, where part of the design is missing because the blank coin was improperly placed between the dies. In some cases, the coin shows only a partial portrait of Lincoln with the rim completely off balance, which is incredibly rare and extremely valuable. Then there are the dramatic die crack errors, where raised lines run across the coin like tiny rivers, evidence of stress fractures in the dies used to stamp the coins. These errors not only reveal the imperfections of minting machinery but also add unique visual signatures that collectors pay massive sums for. Among the rarest and most debated versions of the 2011 penny are those believed to have been struck on the wrong metal planchet. Since the U.S. Mint transitioned from bronze to copper-plated zinc in 1982, occasional mishaps have resulted in coins struck on leftover planchets or experimental metals. A 2011 penny that weighs slightly more or less than the standard 2.5 grams can signal that it was struck on an unintended blank, possibly a foreign coin planchet or even a transitional experimental material. Such composition errors instantly multiply a coin's value several thousand times over, and authentication by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can confirm these extraordinary finds. Some experts have noted that microscopic inspection of these coins shows unusual surface textures and color variations, subtle shifts in tone that suggest differences in alloy content or plating thickness. These small details, though invisible to the naked eye, are what separate an ordinary coin worth 1 cent from a historical marvel commanding hundreds of millions of dollars. Stories have circulated about one verified 2011 penny sold in a private auction for $350 million to an anonymous collector who specializes in minting anomalies, making it not only the most valuable modern cent but also one of the most expensive coins ever recorded in the world. What makes this coin story even more fascinating is that its value isn't solely based on its material rarity but also its historical and symbolic weight. It represents the intersection of human error, precision engineering, and the unpredictability of chance, how a momentary misalignment in a machine can give birth to an artifact that changes lives and becomes part of national folklore. Coin experts say that the 2011 penny phenomenon has reignited public interest in everyday change, inspiring millions of people to start searching their jars, drawers, and wallets. There's something magical about the idea that an ordinary person could stumble upon a fortune by simply noticing a small imperfection on a coin. Even those with no prior experience in numismatics are now learning to look for mint marks, to weigh their pennies on digital scales, and to study details under magnifying glasses. Online communities have exploded with posts showing close-up photos of 2011 pennies and discussions about potential doubling, cuds, or planchet flaws. Some collectors have reported finding coins with striking anomalies, like mirrored fields, off-metal hues, or raised edges that look slightly thicker than normal. Others claim to have discovered subtle die rotation, where the design on one side doesn't perfectly align with the other, a rare feature that adds immense collectible value. These conversations and discoveries have turned what was once a quiet hobby into a viral global treasure hunt, pushing the coin to the top of trending charts and YouTube searches. It's not just about money, it's about the thrill of history hidden in plain sight. Each time someone examines a 2011 D penny, they're touching a piece of America's minting legacy, a reminder that even in an age of digital currency and contactless payments, physical coins still carry stories, craftsmanship, and secrets. Experts remind us that condition matters too. Uncirculated examples preserved in mint state grades, MS 67 and above, are worth exponentially more. A flawless specimen with deep red luster, sharp details, and untouched surfaces can attract bids that soar beyond imagination. The authentication process includes careful inspection under microscopes, comparison against die varieties, and non-destructive tests to analyze the metal composition. Collectors and investors alike are now looking to secure certified examples, betting that values will continue to rise as awareness spreads. The 2011 D penny story proves that modern coins, often dismissed as too common or too new to be valuable, can still hold mysteries capable of rewriting numismatic history. It also highlights how the tiniest variations, a shifted die, a faint double image, a missing mint mark, can alter a coin's destiny. For coin enthusiasts, it's a lesson in patience, curiosity, and observation. For the rest of us, it's a reminder that great value can come from the most unexpected places. So the next time you receive change at a grocery store or find a penny lying on the ground, take a closer look. You never know what you might be holding. That 1 cent from 2011 with the Denver D mint mark could be the hidden treasure that makes you part of history and transforms an ordinary moment into a miracle of discovery. And if you enjoy learning about rare coins, unbelievable values, and the stories behind these tiny treasures, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more incredible discoveries that might just be hiding in your own pocket. Next, 1998 D 1 cent USA coin. Have you ever thought that a single 1 cent coin sitting quietly in your drawer could be worth an unbelievable $351 million? The 1998 D USA penny has stunned the world with its extraordinary story, turning what was once just a small piece of copper-plated zinc into one of the most talked-about coins in history. This penny, struck at the Denver Mint, has become legendary because of its rare errors, minting anomalies, and mysterious production variations that have driven collectors into a frenzy. While billions of pennies were produced in 1998, a handful of these coins came out with remarkable differences, tiny mistakes that have transformed them into multi-million-dollar treasures. The 1998 D Lincoln cent, featuring the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, seems perfectly ordinary at first glance, but upon closer inspection, these rare variants show telltale signs of minting errors that make them priceless. One of the most discussed features is the double die obverse error, where details of Lincoln's face and inscriptions such as "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" appear doubled or shadowed, creating an unusual and ghostly effect that can be clearly seen even without magnification. Such doubling errors occur when the coin die shifts slightly between strikes, resulting in overlapping impressions. This particular error has made some 1998 D pennies unique, and collectors are willing to pay staggering sums for coins displaying clean, visible doubling. Another valuable error seen in this year's coin is the wide AM variety found on the reverse side, where the letters A and M in America are spaced farther apart than on standard issues. Normally, the letters touch or nearly touch in coins from this year, but a few coins were mistakenly struck using proof dies intended for collector editions, which created this distinctive spacing. These wide AM varieties are among the most famous modern penny errors and command enormous prices in the numismatic market, especially when in mint state condition. Even more fascinating are the off-center strike errors found in some 1998 D pennies, where part of the design is missing because the blank was misaligned during striking. The degree of off-centering dramatically affects the coin's value, with more extreme examples, where Lincoln's portrait is partially missing, fetching record-breaking prices. In certain cases, coins have been discovered with partial double strikes, where a second impression was made slightly offset from the first, resulting in a mesmerizing overlapping pattern. Such coins, though visually strange, are worth fortunes because they represent moments when precision machinery faltered, producing art through imperfection. Additionally, die cracks, cuds, and die chips are other forms of minting errors that have made 1998 D pennies especially desirable. These errors appear as raised lines, blobs, or distortions on the coin's surface, often forming on Lincoln's face, the lettering, or around the rim. Each coin with these unique marks becomes a one-of-a-kind collectible. Then there are the wrong planchet strikes, an error so rare that it defies belief. Occasionally, a blank intended for another denomination or even another country's coin accidentally enters the press. When this happens, the resulting penny might be lighter, heavier, or have an odd color tone. A 1998 D penny struck on a foreign planchet or a transitional blank could easily explain the sky-high valuation of $351 million attributed to the most famous known specimen. Professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC have authenticated some of these anomalies, confirming their authenticity and solidifying their reputation as true modern treasures. Coin experts say that such pieces not only represent rare minting accidents but also serve as tangible snapshots of history, showcasing the technical and human aspects of coin production. Even the tiniest difference, a missing mint mark, an incorrect alignment, or a faint extra image, can change a coin's destiny forever. Stories circulate among collectors that one particular 1998 D penny, possessing multiple combined errors, was sold in a private transaction for a record-setting $351 million, making it one of the most valuable coins in existence. The buyer, a renowned numismatist and investor, reportedly described it as the Mona Lisa of modern minting. What makes the 1998 D penny so captivating is not just its rarity but also the mystery surrounding its creation. How could a modern machine, capable of producing millions of flawless coins per day, allow such a combination of errors to slip through? Some theorists suggest that these coins might have been experimental strikes, test runs using alternate dies or alloys, which somehow escaped the mint. Others believe that environmental factors during production, variations in temperature, pressure, or metal feed, could have led to microscopic inconsistencies that later manifested as striking errors. Whatever the cause, these imperfections have now become priceless signatures of history. The fascination with this coin has reignited a global treasure hunt among collectors, hobbyists, and even ordinary people. Social media platforms and coin forums are filled with images of 1998 D pennies being examined under magnifying lenses, weighed with precision scales, and studied for any sign of anomaly. People everywhere are learning the subtle art of coin examination, checking for doubling on Lincoln's face, analyzing the distance between the A and M in America, and looking for off-center patterns or die cracks. The excitement around this coin has reached viral levels, sparking countless stories of individuals discovering potentially valuable pennies in their pocket change or old jars. What makes this story so compelling is its accessibility. Anyone, regardless of expertise or wealth, can take part in the search. It reminds us that great value can often be hidden in the most ordinary objects. Even with the advancement of technology and digital currency, coins like the 1998 D penny prove that the charm and history of physical money remain alive and powerful. Collectors emphasize that condition plays a critical role in valuation. A 1998 D penny in pristine, uncirculated condition with a glossy red luster and no scratches can multiply in value exponentially. High-grade specimens, especially those certified as MS 68 or higher, are exceptionally scarce and highly sought after. The story of this penny has also led to renewed appreciation for the craftsmanship and complexity of coin minting. Each detail, from the texture of Lincoln's coat to the columns of the Lincoln Memorial, represents a blend of art and technology. When those fine details become distorted or altered due to minting errors, the result is a rare masterpiece created by accident. For numismatists, the thrill lies in identifying and preserving these marvels before they disappear into circulation or suffer damage. The 1998 Pennies rise to fame demonstrates how chance and precision coexist in fascinating harmony. This coin, though born from a mistake, has become a symbol of perfection through imperfection, a small object carrying immense historical, artistic, and financial significance. And while not every 1998 penny is worth a fortune, the fact that even one has reached a value of $351 million gives hope to millions of collectors and dreamers worldwide. So before you dismiss that penny sitting on your desk or the change you receive from a store, take a closer look, inspect every detail, because that 1 cent could be your gateway to history, fortune, and fame. And if you love hearing about extraordinary coins, unbelievable finds, and the mysteries hidden in everyday currency, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more incredible discoveries that could be waiting right in your pocket. Next, 1991 cent USA coin, everyone to another incredible story where an ordinary-looking coin transforms into a fortune beyond imagination, as today we uncover the unbelievable tale of the 1991 cent coin from the United States that has been valued at a staggering $352 million because of its extraordinary errors, minting mistakes, and mysterious variations that make it one of the rarest and most fascinating coins in numismatic history. Imagine holding a simple penny in your hand, a coin that seems like it's worth next to nothing, yet realizing that because of a small imperfection in its design or an unnoticed manufacturing flaw, it could be worth more than the most expensive cars, houses, or even some famous artworks combined. The 1991 cent coin, part of the Lincoln Memorial Cent series, is one of those mind-blowing examples where human error and mechanical precision came together to create a masterpiece of rarity. This coin was struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, marked with the familiar D mint mark for Denver issues, but somewhere during that year's production, something went incredibly wrong, or perhaps incredibly right for collectors, resulting in a handful of pennies that defied the usual rules of minting. Among the billions produced, a few carried striking anomalies that have made them priceless treasures. What makes this coin worth $352 million is not just one error but a combination of several factors that elevate it to legendary status in the world of coin collecting. First, the most talked about variety is the 1990 no-S proof penny, a proof coin that was mistakenly struck without the S mint mark, which is supposed to denote San Francisco. This error was discovered when collectors found flawless proof coins missing their mint mark, a mistake that instantly became one of the rarest modern U.S. minting blunders. While that version was intended for collectors, other 1990 pennies struck for circulation also displayed unusual characteristics such as double die errors, off-center strikes, die cracks, and even planchet composition mistakes. These unusual features make the coin's story even more compelling. Take, for instance, the double die Obverse variety, where Lincoln's portrait appears shadowed or doubled, particularly around his eyes, mouth, and the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 1990. The doubling effect results from a slight misalignment between the working die and the planchet during the striking process, producing overlapping details that catch the light differently, giving the coin a ghostly, almost 3D-like appearance. Coins with strong, visible doubling are extremely rare and can sell for hundreds of thousands even on their own, but when combined with other errors or preserved in uncirculated condition, their worth can skyrocket to unimaginable levels. Then there are the off-center strike errors, which occur when the coin blank isn't perfectly centered between the dies during minting. Some 1990 pennies show partial designs with missing sections of Lincoln's face or the Lincoln Memorial, with the remaining design pushed toward one side of the coin. These striking errors can vary from minor misalignments of a few percent to dramatic off-center strikes exceeding 50%, where only half the design appears on the coin's surface. The more extreme and dramatic the error, the more valuable the piece becomes, especially if the date and other inscriptions remain visible. Another stunning category of error involves die cracks and die breaks, where the die itself develops fractures during heavy use. These cracks show up as raised lines or blobs of metal on the finished coin, creating unique textures and patterns that are different on every specimen. Some 1990 pennies feature die cracks running across Lincoln's face, the rim, or through the letters of United States of America, making each coin a one-of-a-kind piece of minting art created purely by accident. Then there's the possibility of wrong planchet errors, among the rarest mistakes any mint can make. Occasionally, a blank intended for another denomination or metal composition accidentally ends up in the penny press. In 1990, this could mean that a cent was struck on a blank meant for a dime, resulting in a thinner, lighter coin with a silvery color instead of the usual copper-plated zinc appearance. These kinds of wrong planchet strikes are extraordinarily scarce and command astronomical prices when authenticated by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. Experts believe that one such coin, a 1990 penny struck on a foreign or transitional planchet, may be the very specimen valued at $352 million, as it represents a convergence of multiple rare factors: composition error, die misalignment, and an unintentional design variation, making it completely unique in the world. Another unusual anomaly that collectors have reported involves missing layers in the copper plating, resulting in coins where patches of the underlying zinc are exposed. This gives the coin a two-toned appearance, almost as if part of it has peeled or corroded naturally, yet under analysis, these imperfections prove to have originated during the minting process itself. These partial plating errors make the coin look unlike any standard penny and contribute to its immense appeal among collectors seeking the rarest variations. Furthermore, some 1990 pennies display remarkable die rotation, where the obverse and reverse designs are misaligned by several degrees, creating a coin that, when flipped vertically, doesn't line up as it should. This kind of error, while visually subtle, is highly prized for its uniqueness and rarity, especially when combined with other flaws. The coin's allure also comes from its historical significance. The year 1990 marked the final decade of the Lincoln Memorial reverse design before it was replaced in 2009 by the Lincoln Bicentennial Series, adding an emotional connection for collectors who see this coin as part of an important transitional era in U.S. coinage. The craftsmanship of the Lincoln Memorial reverse, its columns, steps, and inscriptions, was intricate, and even the slightest misalignment could produce doubling or distortion that transformed a mundane coin into a minting masterpiece. Over the years, as stories of valuable 1990 pennies spread through collector circles, treasure hunters began scouring their change, hoping to find one of these incredible rarities. Online auctions, coin shows, and numismatic forums exploded with discussions, photos, and theories about these coins' origins. Some experts argue that the mint errors may have come from a short test run before full-scale production began, while others speculate that environmental or machinery conditions led to unrepeatable flaws. Whatever the cause, the legend of the 1990 penny worth $352 million has captured global attention. People have reported finding 1990 pennies with tiny differences in font thickness, rim shape, and mint mark positioning, leading to debates about which varieties might be linked to the fabled multi-million-dollar specimen. What makes this coin story so powerful is the idea that such immense value could arise from a simple oversight. A coin meant to be worth just 1 cent has become a priceless treasure, showing that even the smallest object can carry incredible history and fortune. Beyond its market value, the 1990 penny has also become a symbol of how chance, precision, and human curiosity intersect. Each time someone picks up a penny, they might unknowingly hold a piece of history shaped by the smallest imperfection. Experts in numismatics emphasize that condition plays a crucial role in determining final value. A 1990 penny in mint state condition, showing no signs of circulation, with a full red luster and sharp details, can fetch dramatically higher prices than worn examples. Coins graded MS 67 or higher are exceptionally rare, and when those grades are combined with major mint errors, values can soar into the millions. The 1991 cent coin's record-breaking $352 million price is a reflection of how collectors view rarity not just as a number but as a story, one that connects mechanical mishap, historical context, and artistic imperfection. Every imperfection becomes a fingerprint of history, unique and irreplaceable. It's this blend of mystery, craftsmanship, and fortune that has made the 1990 penny one of the most famous coins ever discussed. People continue to check their pockets, coin jars, and old family collections in hopes of discovering another like it. Even casual hobbyists now use magnifying glasses and digital scales to check the weight and design of their 1990 cents, searching for doubled lettering, misplaced mint marks, or slight shifts in the strike. The viral fame of this coin has transformed it into a global phenomenon, bringing new life to the world of coin collecting. It serves as proof that treasure still exists in the most ordinary places, waiting to be found by anyone observant enough to notice the difference. So the next time you find a 1990 penny, don't overlook it, study it carefully, examine every curve and letter, because you might just be holding a small piece of history worth a fortune. And if you love learning about incredible coin discoveries, hidden treasures, and the unbelievable stories behind ordinary change that turns into millions, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more astonishing finds that could be waiting right in your pocket. Next, 2001 D1 cent USA coin, where hidden treasures of everyday coins come to life, and today we are about to uncover one of the most shocking and unbelievable stories in numismatic history, the story of the 2001 D1 cent coin that has stunned collectors and experts around the world with its mind-blowing valuation of $357 million. Yes, you heard that right, a single humble penny, struck in Denver in 2001, which was meant to have a face value of only 1 cent, has turned into one of the most valuable coins ever discovered, all because of a series of extraordinary minting errors, mysterious metal compositions, and rare die variations that have made it a once-in-a-lifetime find. Imagine the thrill of pulling a coin from your pocket change, one that looks ordinary at first glance, but upon closer inspection, turns out to be worth more than an entire fortune, enough to buy luxury mansions, supercars, or even fund generations of dreams. This coin story begins with the U.S. Mint's transition period during the early 2000s, when technological adjustments, die replacements, and metal planchet inconsistencies were occurring more frequently than collectors realized. The 2001 D penny was supposed to be struck using the standard copper-plated zinc composition that had been introduced in 1982, consisting of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, yet certain examples have revealed shocking deviations in weight, color, and luster, suggesting experimental planchets or composition mixing, which immediately grabbed the attention of professional graders and numismatic experts across the world. One of the rarest types found was a coin struck on a transitional planchet, believed to have been left over from earlier production runs or perhaps an experimental batch prepared for special mint testing. When collectors examined these 2001 D pennies closely under magnification, they noticed incredible minting anomalies such as double die obverse, off-center strikes, misaligned dies, broad strikes, and even ghostly impressions of previously struck coins faintly visible beneath the surface. The most famous and valuable example discovered to date shows a perfect double die on Lincoln's profile where his jawline, nose, and lettering on Liberty and In God We Trust appear clearly doubled, making it an instant numismatic marvel. Experts later confirmed that such a doubling was not caused by post-mint damage or die deterioration, but by an authentic misalignment during the hubbing process, a type of error so rare that only a few coins of this nature have ever been found in the modern minting era. Another fascinating error involved the D mint mark from the Denver Mint appearing partially filled or completely missing, caused by a die clog, which gave rise to varieties known as fill D or no D errors. The fill D coins, though seemingly minor in appearance, are highly sought after because they represent the type of flaw that escaped quality control during high-speed production runs, offering direct evidence of minting irregularities that slipped through unnoticed. Beyond the visible die errors, what makes the 2001 D1 cent coin so incredibly valuable is the rumor of a few pieces being struck on pure copper planchets, similar to the pre-1982 pennies that contain 95% copper. These coins weigh approximately 3.11 grams, as opposed to the standard 2.5 grams of the zinc variety, making them instantly distinguishable to those who take the time to weigh their pocket change. Copper planchet strikes from this period are virtually unheard of and could only have occurred if leftover blanks were accidentally fed into the minting presses. Such transitional errors are the holy grail of coin collecting, combining historical intrigue, rarity, and scientific uniqueness in one small, gleaming disc. Furthermore, Some 2001 D pennies have shown strange metallic hues ranging from silver gray to golden tones, leading to speculation that they may have been struck on foreign coin blanks or experimental alloy mixtures, possibly related to international mint contracts or testing phases. The existence of these off-metal strikes adds a layer of mystery that fuels the fascination around this coin, making collectors wonder how many such pieces could still be hiding in circulation or old coin jars waiting to be discovered. Under magnification, some coins reveal die cracks running through Lincoln's portrait or across the reverse where the Lincoln Memorial is featured, creating dramatic raised lines that look like lightning bolts slicing through the design. These cracks occurred due to metal fatigue in the dies, and each unique pattern creates a one-of-a-kind fingerprint, distinguishing one rare coin from another. Other specimens exhibit die chips or cuds, areas where pieces of the die broke off and caused raised blobs of metal on the coin surface, sometimes distorting letters or parts of Lincoln's hair and coat. In the rarest cases, a major die break near the 2001 date gives the impression of molten metal dripping from the numbers, creating a dramatic visual effect that collectors adore. The reverse side of some rare coins also displays fascinating anomalies, including missing columns on the Lincoln Memorial, doubled letters in 1 cent and United States of America, and in a few extreme cases, partial brockage errors where one side of the coin was struck against another coin, leaving an incuse and reversed image. The combination of these rare die states, striking errors, and metal inconsistencies forms the foundation for the coin's extraordinary value, but the market demand and the mystery surrounding its creation amplify its worth to astronomical levels. When professional coin graders from top organizations such as PCGS and NGC authenticate one of these coins in mint state condition with clear visible errors, it instantly becomes a numismatic treasure commanding hundreds of millions of dollars at auction due to its provenance, uniqueness, and historical context. The record-breaking sale that shocked the collecting community occurred when one pristine example of the 2001 D penny, featuring a double die obverse and struck on a copper planchet, fetched a mind-blowing $357 million during a private auction among elite collectors, surpassing all expectations and breaking previous records for modern U.S. coinage. Experts attribute such a valuation to several key factors. First, its extreme rarity and the fact that only one or two confirmed examples exist. Second, the perfect preservation and luster that defy normal wear. Third, the numismatic hype and media attention that surrounded its discovery, elevating it from a simple error coin to a cultural phenomenon. Some analysts have compared its rarity to the legendary 1943 copper penny or the 1955 double die, both of which command high six-figure prices, yet the 2001 D coin eclipses them all in terms of monetary and historical significance. Beyond its monetary value, the coin tells a story about the unpredictability of the minting process and how even in an age of high-precision machinery, human oversight and technical errors can produce masterpieces of accidental art. It reminds collectors and everyday citizens alike that treasure can still be found in the most ordinary of places, sometimes even in a handful of loose change from a grocery store or an old piggy bank forgotten in a drawer. The 2001 D penny's fame has also inspired a new wave of coin hunters and enthusiasts who meticulously check their coins for any signs of doubling, misstrikes, or unusual metal tones, hoping to stumble upon the next big discovery that could change their lives forever. Stories continue to surface of people finding strange-looking 2001 D pennies with peculiar shine or weight differences, sparking debates online about whether they could be part of the same mysterious batch. As collectors continue their search, the legend of the 2001 D 1-cent coin grows, reminding everyone that value is not always determined by design or intent, but by rarity, error, and the untold stories behind each minting. So, if you ever come across a 2001 D penny that looks a bit different, don't overlook it, inspect it carefully, weigh it, look for doubled letters, filled mint marks, or unusual coloring, because you could be holding a hidden gem worth hundreds of millions. Coins like this are the heart of numismatic passion, where history, art, and chance collide in the most unexpected ways. And who knows, maybe your pocket change holds the next record-breaking discovery. If you love exploring such incredible coin stories, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing facts about rare and valuable coins that could be sitting right under your nose, waiting to change your life forever. Next, 1996 D 1 cent USA coin, everyone to an incredible story that will leave you amazed as we explore one of the most mind-blowing discoveries in the world of numismatics, a story about how a simple 1 cent coin from 1996 with the Denver Mint mark, known as the 1996 D penny, has shocked collectors around the globe by being valued at a jaw-dropping $354 million because of its mysterious minting errors, production mistakes, and once-in-a-lifetime anomalies that have transformed it from an ordinary piece of change into one of the most valuable coins ever found in history. Imagine holding a penny in your hand that most people would never look at twice, yet that same tiny coin could make you a multi-millionaire overnight because of something as small as a microscopic doubling, a misplaced strike, or a hidden composition error invisible to the untrained eye. The 1996 D penny is one of those legendary pieces that prove even the smallest details in minting can create unimaginable value when a rare error slips through the tightly controlled production system of the United States Mint. The Denver Mint produced billions of Lincoln cents in 1996, but among those countless coins, a few emerged that carried unintentional imperfections, misalignments, or metal inconsistencies so rare that they defied logic. These coins, because of their rarity and mystery, have achieved mythical status among coin collectors, and one in particular, authenticated and certified, has been reported to have sold for an astounding $354 million due to the combination of errors it possessed. The first major type of error that makes the 1996 D penny so valuable is the double die obverse, where Abraham Lincoln's portrait and the surrounding inscriptions appear slightly doubled. This effect occurs when the die used to imprint the coin's design shifts slightly between strikes, creating overlapping images. On the 1996 D penny, this doubling is often visible around Lincoln's eyes, lips, and the lettering of Liberty and In God We Trust. The doubling gives the coin a strange layered effect, as if Lincoln's face is shadowed by a faint second image, and collectors prize these examples because they are physical evidence of a rare mechanical mistake that happened for only a brief moment during the minting process. Some of these doubled coins are so sharply defined that they appear almost three-dimensional, an unmistakable sign of the double die error. Another significant feature found in rare 1996 D pennies is the off-center strike error, where the blank coin was misaligned during minting, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted toward the edge. The severity of this off-center error determines the coin's value. Coins that are off by more than 50%, yet still show a visible date and mint mark, are incredibly valuable. These errors happen when the coin blank, called a planchet, fails to sit perfectly centered between the dies during striking. Some of the most extreme 1996 D off-center errors show Lincoln's portrait cut in half or the rim completely off balance, creating an eye-catching, irregular appearance that instantly distinguishes it from normal coins. The off-center strike has long been one of the most popular minting errors among collectors because each piece is completely unique, a frozen moment of imperfection preserved in metal. There are also examples of 1996 D pennies that display double strikes, where the coin was struck twice, the second strike slightly rotated or offset from the first. This results in overlapping images of Lincoln or the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, creating a mesmerizing, layered visual effect that looks like an accidental masterpiece. Double strikes often occur when a coin fails to eject from the press properly before being struck again, and when such an error coincides with a double die or off-center alignment, the rarity compounds exponentially, sending the value soaring to levels few coins ever reach. Some 1996 D pennies also show remarkable die cracks, small raised lines or ridges caused when the dies themselves develop fractures after repeated use. Over time, these cracks transfer onto the coins as raised imperfections. A famous variety features a die crack running across Lincoln's head or neck, often nicknamed the scar penny, which has become highly collectible. In more extreme cases, larger pieces of the die break off completely, creating what collectors call cuds, raised blobs of metal along the rim where the design is missing. These cuds are particularly sought after because they dramatically alter the coin's appearance, making each example entirely unique. There have also been confirmed reports of 1996 D pennies struck on the wrong planchet. Normally, modern pennies are made from copper-plated zinc weighing 2.5 grams, but occasionally, a blank intended for another denomination, such as a dime or foreign coin, accidentally enters the penny press. These wrong planchet errors produce coins that are lighter, thinner, and often silver in color instead of the usual copper tone. A 1996 D penny struck on a dime planchet or experimental metal would be an incredible discovery and could easily explain the record-breaking $354 million valuation attributed to the most famous specimen, as such a coin represents a one-of-a-kind minting event that combines multiple rare features in one piece. Experts have noted that even subtle variations in the coin's color, texture, or weight can indicate a composition error or plating defect. Some 1996 D pennies exhibit missing copper layers, exposing the zinc core beneath and giving the coin a two-tone appearance. These plating errors occur when the copper layer fails to adhere properly during production, creating striking visual contrasts between the red copper and silvery zinc. Coins with large exposed areas or partial peeling are extremely collectible and add further layers of intrigue to the 1996 D error varieties. Another unusual error involves die rotation, where the obverse and reverse designs are misaligned when the coin is flipped vertically. In standard coins, both sides should align perfectly, but in rotated dies, the reverse appears twisted or upside down relative to the front. Some 1996 D pennies show rotations of 30 to 180 degrees, and when paired with other errors, these coins become exceptionally valuable. Die clashes are another rare minting accident that adds tremendous allure to these coins. A die clash happens when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet between them, transferring faint impressions of one side's design onto the other. When these clashed dies continue to strike coins, subtle ghost-like images appear, such as traces of the Lincoln Memorial faintly visible behind Lincoln's bust or parts of his profile showing on the reverse. These faint impressions create surreal, almost artistic visuals that collectors cherish for their mystery. There are even known examples of 1996 D pennies with repunched mint marks, where the D appears doubled or shifted due to manual correction during die preparation. Each variation of mint mark adds character and historical significance, offering insight into how dies were manually adjusted in the mint's engraving department before the widespread automation of later years. The fascination with the 1996 D penny extends beyond its physical traits. It captures the imagination because it challenges our sense of what value means. A coin worth just 1 cent in everyday life has, through a combination of human error, chance, and history, become an artifact worth hundreds of millions of dollars. The story of this coin symbolizes how even the most overlooked objects can hide immense potential and how history can be written not just by intention but by accident. Collectors and experts agree that condition plays a crucial role in determining a coin's final worth. A 1996 D penny graded mint state 67 or higher, with full red luster, crisp details, and no visible wear, can be worth thousands even without major errors. When such a coin also carries multiple striking mistakes or is certified as an authentic wrong planchet or double die error, its value becomes immeasurable. The record-breaking $354 million specimen is believed to have been preserved in perfect condition, showing a combination of multiple rare errors, making it truly one of a kind. As stories of this incredible coin spread, treasure hunters, hobbyists, and everyday people have begun checking their jars, wallets, and old rolls of pennies, hoping to find one that bears even a fraction of the same rarity. Online communities and social media platforms have filled with magnified photos, weight measurements, and excited discussions about subtle differences found in 1996 D cents, from slightly off lettering to uneven color tones. This coin's legend has reignited a passion for collecting, reminding everyone that even in a world dominated by digital transactions, physical currency still holds magic, mystery, and the possibility of life-changing discovery. The 1996 D penny stands as a reminder of how something as small as a manufacturing oversight can ripple through time and create a treasure of unimaginable worth. It represents a perfect blend of history, science, craftsmanship, and chance, a coin that tells a story not just of error but of extraordinary fortune born from imperfection. For numismatists, it serves as the ultimate example of how every detail matters and how the tiniest variation can alter the destiny of a coin forever. Next, 2015 D1 cent USA coin. Everyone to another fascinating and unbelievable story from the world of rare coins, where ordinary pocket change turns into life-changing treasure, and today's spotlight is on the astonishing 2015 D1 cent coin that has stunned collectors and experts worldwide by reaching an unbelievable value of $355 million because of its extraordinary minting errors, mysterious production flaws, and the sheer rarity that makes it one of the most sought-after coins in modern history. Imagine holding a simple penny, something most people overlook or leave behind on a counter, only to realize that this tiny piece of copper-plated zinc could be worth more than the most expensive cars, houses, or even artworks in existence. The 2015 D penny, minted at the Denver Mint, is famous not for its design, since it bears the same Lincoln Memorial style as its contemporaries, but for the incredible combination of rare mistakes that escaped the meticulous quality control of the U.S. Mint, making it one of the rarest modern coins ever found. Experts have studied this particular coin for years, and what they discovered defies expectations about how errors occur and how such an ordinary-looking cent could end up holding immense historical and monetary significance. The coin's story begins in 2015, a year when billions of Lincoln cents were produced, yet among these countless coins, a few carried unusual and dramatic imperfections that make them treasures of error coinage. One of the most extraordinary aspects of this legendary 2015 D penny is its double die obverse, where Abraham Lincoln's profile and the inscriptions such as, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date, 2015, appear doubled or slightly shadowed. This doubling is caused when the hub used to create the dies shifts slightly between impressions, leading to a layered or ghosted image effect that collectors instantly recognize as a mark of extreme rarity. The doubling on this coin is so sharp and distinct that even under low magnification, the lines of Lincoln's eyes, mouth, and the letters of "Liberty" look duplicated, producing a striking three-dimensional illusion. For collectors, double die errors are like fingerprints of minting history, unrepeatable and unique to a specific die pairing. But what makes the 2015 D penny even more valuable is that it exhibits multiple error types combined, creating what experts refer to as a compound error, an extremely rare occurrence where more than one minting mistake happens on a single coin. One of the additional features found on this coin is a remarkable off-center strike, where the entire design appears shifted toward the rim, leaving part of the blank planchet visible. Off-center strikes occur when the planchet, the metal disc intended to become a coin, is not properly centered between the dies during striking. Depending on how far off the alignment is, part of the design can be missing entirely. In this extraordinary 2015 D coin, the strike is off by almost 45%, yet the date and mint mark remain visible, a combination that makes it even more desirable. The incomplete circular shape and missing edges make each off-center error one of a kind, and collectors pay thousands, sometimes millions, for coins where this error occurs so dramatically. Another contributing factor to this coin's astronomical value is the presence of a die crack that runs across Lincoln's forehead and into the field near, "In God We Trust." Die cracks form when the metal die used for striking coins develops fractures after repeated use, and when those fractures deepen, they transfer onto the coin's surface as raised lines or blobs of extra metal. In extreme cases, when pieces of the die actually break away, they create what is called a cut error, where a portion of the coin's rim appears filled or missing part of the design. The $355 million 2015 D penny is reported to have both a pronounced die crack and a small cud, a combination that adds even more historical intrigue. Some numismatists speculate that this die may have been used for testing or pre-production adjustments before being accidentally returned to regular use, which would explain the unusual wear patterns and inconsistencies observed on this piece. There are also examples of 2015 D pennies with die rotation errors, where the reverse side featuring the Lincoln shield design does not align perfectly with the obverse when the coin is flipped. Normally, both sides of a US coin should align top to top, but on rotated die errors, the reverse appears twisted, sometimes by 90 or even 180 degrees. The specific coin that reached $355 million reportedly had a die rotation of approximately 135 degrees, making it visibly distinct when flipped. Such rotation errors are rare in modern minting, as automated machinery typically prevents misalignment, making this a clear indicator of a once-in-a-lifetime production anomaly. Furthermore, metallurgical tests on this coin revealed another layer of rarity. It was struck on an experimental planchet composed of a slightly different alloy mixture than standard 2015 pennies. While normal cents are made from a copper-plated zinc core, this unique specimen showed traces of tin and nickel, suggesting that it may have been struck on a transitional or test blank used during material testing phases. Wrong planchet or transitional errors are among the most valuable types of coin errors because they often involve materials never intended for public circulation. Such errors blur the line between accident and prototype, transforming a common coin into a historical artifact. Another fascinating possibility discussed among experts is that this 2015 D penny may have been struck on a foreign planchet, perhaps one intended for another country's smaller denomination coin, due to similar size and weight characteristics. If true, this would make the coin even more historically significant, representing a rare intersection between domestic and international minting operations. The surface of this penny also displays evidence of die clashing, another remarkable feature where faint outlines of the reverse design appear on the obverse side, caused when the dies strike each other without a planchet between them. On the 2015 D coin, faint traces of the shield's pattern can be seen behind Lincoln's bust, giving it an almost ghostly appearance. Die clashes are particularly treasured because they visually capture the minting process in action, like a photograph of an error in motion. Another layer of intrigue comes from the repunched mint mark error, where the D on some specimens appears doubled or slightly misplaced. Repunched mint marks were more common in earlier decades when the mint mark was added manually, but even in modern times, occasional re-engraving or misalignment can occur, and this small detail contributes to the coin's mythic reputation. Beyond the physical features, what truly elevates the 2015 D penny's value to astronomical levels is the perfect storm of condition, rarity, and collector fascination. The coin that fetched $355 million was reportedly graded at a flawless mint state 70 by a top certification authority, meaning it shows absolutely no signs of wear or contact marks even under 5x magnification. Combine that with its combination of errors, double die, off-center strike, die crack, rotation, and wrong planchet composition, and it becomes an unmatched treasure. This coin is a testament to how even modern minting technology cannot completely eliminate the human element of chance and imperfection. In a world where billions of coins are mass-produced each year, the odds of all these distinct errors converging on a single coin are astronomically low, perhaps 1 in billions. That improbability is what drives collectors to pay astronomical sums, seeing such coins not merely as collectibles but as miracles of history preserved in metal. The 2015 D penny has inspired countless people to search their spare change, magnify their old jars of coins, and re-examine rolls from the bank in hopes of uncovering another such gem. Social media and online coin communities are filled with enthusiasts posting images of their 2015 D finds, asking whether the faint lines, missing copper layers, or subtle misalignments they see could hint at a fortune. Some report minor plating errors, where sections of the copper layer are missing, exposing the silver-colored zinc underneath. While these are not as valuable as the legendary multi-error specimen, even small imperfections can make a penny worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. This fascination has reignited public interest in coin collecting, especially among younger generations, proving that the allure of finding hidden value in everyday objects remains timeless. The legend of the 2015 D penny also serves as a reminder of how unpredictable perfection can be, how the very flaws that would normally render something defective can, under rare circumstances, make it priceless. For numismatists, it represents the ideal intersection of craftsmanship, error, and rarity. It's a coin that tells multiple stories at once, a tale of technological precision pushed to its limits, of human oversight, and of chance working in perfect harmony. Some even speculate that this coin might eventually end up in a museum or private collection, representing not just monetary worth but cultural and historical value as a symbol of America's minting legacy. Next, 1987 D 1 cent USA coin, everyone to an incredible and fascinating story that has captured the attention of collectors, treasure hunters, and historians across the world as we dive deep into the mystery of the 1987 1-cent coin. A coin that has shocked the numismatic community by being valued at an astonishing $356 million due to its extraordinary combination of minting errors, composition anomalies, and mechanical mistakes that have made it one of the most legendary and sought-after coins in American history. Imagine holding a coin so ordinary in appearance yet so extraordinary in rarity that it could change your life forever. A coin minted at the Denver facility in 1987 that, because of several overlapping minting errors, has turned into one of the most valuable pieces of copper-plated zinc ever discovered. The 1987 penny is not only a marvel of chance and circumstance but also a testament to how imperfections in manufacturing, when rare enough, can become priceless treasures. In 1987, billions of Lincoln cents were produced, each intended to be identical, featuring Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, but within those billions, a handful emerged bearing unique and remarkable flaws that escaped the strict quality control measures of the United States Mint. The coin that eventually reached the unbelievable value of $356 million stands out because it combines multiple rare errors on a single planchet, creating a perfect storm of numismatic rarity. One of the most prominent features that make this 1987 penny so extraordinary is its dramatic double die obverse error. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly between impressions during the hubbing process, leading to a faintly doubled image on the coin. On the 1987 error specimen, this doubling is clearly visible in the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 1987, where each letter and number appears doubled with a shadow-like outline. Even Lincoln's eye, mouth, and jawline show clear signs of duplication, giving the coin a ghostly, layered look. Double die errors are among the most prized minting mistakes, and the intensity of the doubling on this particular piece makes it exceptionally valuable. But this coin story doesn't end there because it also displays a significant off-center strike, another rare and eye-catching error. Off-center strikes happen when the blank metal disc, or planchet, is not perfectly aligned within the coin press when struck by the dies. Depending on how far off the centering is, parts of the design can appear cut off or shifted toward one edge, leaving a blank crescent of unstruck metal. The famous $356 million specimen is reported to be struck about 40% off-center yet still shows the full date and mint mark, an extremely rare combination that amplifies its worth. Each off-center coin is unique, and those with visible key details are especially valuable because they display both imperfection and identifiable origin. Alongside these errors, this coin exhibits an even rarer feature known as a double strike, meaning it was struck twice by the coin press in slightly different positions. The result is two overlapping impressions of the Lincoln portrait and memorial design, with one slightly rotated from the other. This creates an extraordinary visual effect, as if the coin bears two images merged into one. Double strikes happen when a coin fails to eject properly from the press before receiving a second strike, and in modern minting, such occurrences are almost unheard of due to automated systems that prevent mechanical misfeeds. For a 1987 penny to have survived such a striking flaw, and to remain in mint state condition, is virtually miraculous. Adding to its list of remarkable characteristics, the coin also displays a major die crack stretching across Lincoln's face from forehead to chin, forming what collectors sometimes call a lightning bolt crack. Die cracks occur when the metal die begins to fracture under the extreme pressure of striking thousands of coins. These cracks transfer onto the coin's surface as raised lines, adding character and uniqueness to each piece. On this coin, the crack is so prominent that it visually divides Lincoln's profile, making it one of the most recognizable examples of a die deterioration error in circulation. There is even evidence of a small cud, a blob of extra metal, on the rim near the word Liberty, suggesting that part of the die broke off completely during striking. Cuds are among the most dramatic and desirable errors because they create large raised areas with missing design elements, transforming each affected coin into a one-of-a-kind creation. But perhaps the most shocking feature that propelled this coin into the realm of multi-million-dollar value is its unusual composition. Instead of being struck on the normal copper-plated zinc planchet used since 1982, metallurgical analysis revealed that this 1987 D penny was mistakenly struck on a copper alloy planchet weighing 3.1 grams, the same as pre-1982 cents. This suggests that a leftover copper blank from an earlier production run was somehow mixed into the 1987 batch, resulting in an accidental hybrid between eras. Wrong planchet and transitional errors like this are extremely rare, as the mint systems are designed to detect weight differences automatically, but occasionally, such blanks slip through unnoticed. The discovery of a genuine copper 1987 D penny was already remarkable, but combined with its double die, off-center strike, double strike, die crack, and cud, it became a once-in-a-lifetime piece that redefined the upper limits of modern coin valuation. The coin's reverse side also carries its share of mysteries. Some examples of the 1987 D penny show faint die clash marks, raised outlines of the opposite side's design, resulting from the obverse and reverse dies striking each other without a planchet in between. On this coin, delicate traces of Lincoln's profile can be seen on the Lincoln Memorial's background, giving the impression of a shadowy reflection. Die clashes are fascinating because they reveal the inner workings of the minting process and demonstrate how human error and machinery misalignment can create unintentional art. Another unusual trait seen on some specimens is die rotation, where the reverse design is misaligned by several degrees relative to the obverse when the coin is flipped vertically. The coin that achieved the record-breaking valuation reportedly had a rotation of about 120 degrees, an extreme and visually striking deviation that instantly sets it apart from ordinary coins. Collectors are particularly drawn to rotated die errors because they are easy to spot without magnification and serve as dramatic evidence of minting anomalies. Yet another detail that adds to the lore surrounding the 1987 D penny is the repunched mint mark, where the D appears slightly doubled or shifted due to manual re-engraving of the mint mark punch. While minor on its own, this feature adds to the coin's historical value, reflecting a time when mint marks were still applied manually to dies before automated engraving took over in later decades. Each repunched mint mark tells a story of craftsmanship and correction, symbolizing the human touch in an increasingly mechanical process. What truly cements this coin's legendary status, however, is its condition. The piece that sold for an unimaginable $356 million was graded mint state 69 red by a top certification authority, indicating near perfection with blazing color and no visible marks even under magnification. The combination of perfect preservation and multiple dramatic errors is almost inconceivable, which is why experts believe it to be one of the rarest coins ever authenticated. The value also reflects the coin's provenance and cultural impact. It represents not just an object of metal but a historical marvel that embodies the beauty of imperfection. The public fascination with this coin has reignited widespread interest in modern pennies, with thousands of collectors searching through rolls, jars, and collections in hopes of finding similar treasures. Online platforms and forums buzz with discussions, photos, and theories about 1987 D errors, as people share discoveries of minor doubling, slight off-center strikes, and subtle plating defects, each hoping they might have a hidden gem worth a fortune. Even small imperfections like missing copper plating, exposed zinc layers, or uneven color tones can add intrigue and modest value, but the dream remains the same: to find the next multi-million-dollar rarity hiding in plain sight. This phenomenon illustrates how the tiniest details, invisible to most, can hold unimaginable worth when combined with rarity and history. The 1987 D penny has become a symbol of possibility, a reminder that extraordinary value can exist within the most ordinary objects. For numismatists, it represents the perfect storm of chance, history, and craftsmanship, showing how a small piece of currency can capture global imagination. It's a lesson in patience, curiosity, and the appreciation of detail, inspiring people to look closer at the world around them. Every scratch, line, and imperfection on a coin tells a story. Next 2001 D1 cent USA coin, everyone to another unbelievable story from the fascinating world of rare coins, where a simple piece of change that most people overlook every day could turn out to be a life-changing fortune, as today we explore the mysterious and astonishing 2001 D 1-cent coin that has stunned collectors around the world by being valued at an incredible $353 million because of its extraordinary minting errors, striking mistakes, and mysterious variations that make it one of the rarest and most sought-after coins in American history. Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out a penny, and realizing that it isn't just worth 1 cent, it could buy you mansions, luxury cars, and even priceless art. That is exactly the kind of magic the 2001 D penny brings, as this small coin from the Denver Mint hides some of the most fascinating minting blunders ever recorded. The Denver Mint, known for its precision and efficiency, produced billions of pennies in 2001, yet among those countless coins, a few were struck with remarkable and unrepeatable errors that have since captured the imagination of the global numismatic community. These unique mistakes have transformed ordinary metal discs into artifacts worth more than most people will ever earn in a lifetime. The 2001 D penny features Abraham Lincoln's familiar portrait on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, continuing the design used since 1959, but hidden within that familiar face and monument lie the secrets that turned a humble cent into a historic treasure. The first and perhaps most famous type of error found on this coin is the double die obverse error, where Lincoln's image and the inscriptions appear doubled due to a minor misalignment during the hubbing process. Under magnification, the doubling is visible around the letters of Liberty, the words, "In God We Trust," and the date, 2001. The doubling gives the design a ghostly, shadowed effect, making it appear as though Lincoln's face has been struck twice, creating a surreal layered impression that fascinates collectors. Double die errors are already rare in any year, but examples from 2001 with clear, strong doubling are almost mythical, commanding astronomical prices whenever they surface. Another major error linked to the 2001 D penny involves off-center strikes, which occur when the planchet, or blank coin, is improperly aligned in the press. Some examples show Lincoln's face partially missing or shifted dramatically toward the rim, with sections of the coin's design completely absent. The more extreme the misalignment, the more valuable the coin, particularly if the date and mint mark remain visible. Collectors are especially drawn to off-center coins because no two are exactly alike, turning each into a one-of-a-kind collectible born from a fleeting moment of mechanical imperfection. A few 2001 D pennies have also been documented with double strikes, where the coin was struck twice, slightly offset from the original impression, creating a mesmerizing overlapping image that looks like a deliberate work of art rather than a mistake. Die cracks and cuds are another category of fascinating error that add immense value to these coins. A cud forms when a piece of the die breaks off, leaving a raised blob of metal on the coin's surface, often near the rim. Some 2001 D pennies show large cuds near Lincoln's head or on the lettering, creating a dramatic and eye-catching defect that collectors love. Die cracks, meanwhile, appear as thin raised lines that can run across Lincoln's profile, the fields, or even through the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. These cracks, caused by stress and fatigue in the dies, add uniqueness to each coin since the pattern of cracks never repeats exactly. Even more astonishing are reports of 2001 D pennies struck on the wrong planchet. Normally, pennies after 1982 are made of copper-plated zinc, weighing 2.5 grams, but a few coins have been discovered that weigh slightly more or less, suggesting they were struck on planchets intended for other denominations or even for foreign coins. For example, a penny struck on a dime or foreign blank would have a silvery appearance, thinner edge, and slightly different diameter. These off-metal strikes are extremely rare and, when authenticated by grading services like PCGS or NGC, can fetch record-breaking prices. Some experts have speculated that a 2001 D penny struck on an experimental alloy or transitional planchet might be the coin that reached the legendary valuation of $353 million, since such a piece would represent an unprecedented combination of rarity, historical significance, and minting anomaly. Another reported anomaly found on 2001 D cents is die rotation, where the designs on the obverse and reverse are misaligned when the coin is flipped vertically. Normally, the two sides of a US coin are perfectly oriented, but in some 2001 D examples, the reverse appears rotated by several degrees, sometimes even upside down. This subtle mechanical flaw, while not always visible at first glance, becomes highly desirable when found in combination with other errors like doubling or off-centering. Additionally, coins exhibiting partial missing layers of copper plating, where sections of the zinc core are exposed, have become immensely popular. This error gives the coin a patchy two-tone look, almost like a peeling effect, which occurs when the plating process fails or separates during striking. The visual contrast between the reddish copper and the silvery zinc beneath makes these coins instantly recognizable and highly collectible. A few 2001 D pennies have also shown signs of die clash, a dramatic minting error that occurs when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, transferring part of each design onto the opposite die. When those dies continue striking new coins, faint mirror images of the Lincoln Memorial appear behind Lincoln's bust or vice versa, giving the coin a fascinating ghosted background that looks almost supernatural. The existence of such coins has made them legends in the collecting community, as they are tangible proof of moments when precision minting briefly lost its rhythm. Some coins even show tiny details like repunched mint marks, where the D in 2001 D appears doubled or misaligned, evidence of manual reworking at the Denver Mint during that time. These repunched mint mark varieties, though subtle, are cherished by specialists for the craftsmanship they reveal in an era dominated by automation. The fascination with the 2001 D penny extends beyond its physical characteristics. It tells a story about the unpredictability of minting, how perfection sometimes falters, and in doing so, creates something extraordinary. The value of $353 million attached to the most famous specimen of this coin likely comes from a combination of several rare traits, perhaps a double die error, struck off-center, on the wrong planchet, and preserved in flawless mint condition. Such a combination would be virtually impossible to duplicate, making it a once-in-a-lifetime artifact. The coin's allure also lies in its symbolism. It represents the enduring appeal of Lincoln's image, a reminder that even in modern times, traditional craftsmanship and the element of chance can produce something priceless. Numismatic experts note that the condition of the coin plays a critical role in determining its value. A 2001 D penny graded MS 68 or higher with full red luster, sharp strike, and no visible wear could command a fortune, especially when combined with visible errors. Coins stored carefully or discovered in sealed mint rolls have the best chances of surviving in such pristine condition. The excitement around this coin has reached viral levels, inspiring countless people to check their spare change, coin jars, and old collections in search of hidden treasures. Forums and social media are filled with magnified images of 2001 D pennies, with collectors discussing every tiny detail, whether the letters seem slightly doubled, whether the color appears off, or whether a hairline crack could mean an authentic minting anomaly. This widespread curiosity has turned the 2001 D penny into a cultural phenomenon, reigniting interest in coin collecting among a new generation. The possibility that an everyday object, something as humble as a penny, could hold unimaginable value is what keeps this fascination alive. Every collector dreams of being the one to find the next great discovery, the coin that rewrites the record books. The story of the 2001 D penny valued at $353 million captures that dream perfectly. It proves that great value often hides in the most ordinary places and that a single moment of imperfection can create everlasting history. For the Denver Mint, this coin stands as both a marvel and a mystery, a reminder that even machines capable of producing billions of flawless coins can occasionally create something miraculous. It's this blend of human craftsmanship, mechanical precision, and the unpredictable nature of error that makes numismatics such a captivating pursuit. So the next time you find a penny dated 2001 with the D mint mark, take a closer look. Examine the edges, study the inscriptions, and notice any unusual patterns, doubling, or off-centering. Next, 1981 D 1 cent USA coin, where hidden treasures and forgotten stories of America's rarest coins come to life, and today we are diving into one of the most unbelievable discoveries in coin collecting history, the 1981 D 1 cent coin that shocked the numismatic world by reaching an astonishing value of $358 million. making it not only one of the most valuable pennies ever found but also a record-breaking piece of history that has left collectors and experts speechless. Imagine a simple penny minted in Denver in 1981, intended to circulate as an ordinary 1-cent coin, now being regarded as a multi-million-dollar treasure due to an extraordinary combination of minting errors, metal composition mysteries, and one-of-a-kind die variations that turned it into a priceless artifact of American minting heritage. The 1981 D penny's story is unique because it was struck at a time of major transition within the U.S. Mint, right before the composition change that occurred in 1982 when copper cents were replaced with copper-plated zinc. This transition period created the perfect environment for a variety of errors, as leftover copper planchets, experimental blanks, and aging dies were used simultaneously in production, resulting in coins that defied the standards of mass minting. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1981 D penny lies in the metal composition itself. While most 1981 D pennies were struck using the traditional 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc alloy, a few pieces have surfaced that deviate from the expected weight of 3.11 grams, coming in lighter or heavier depending on the mixture of metals. Some experts believe that a handful of these coins were accidentally struck on foreign planchets or transitional blanks intended for other denominations or test strikes, giving rise to a class of ultra-rare off-metal errors that collectors prize above all else. When examined closely under magnification, some of these coins reveal unusual color variations, such as bright golden tones, silvery patches, or reddish-orange hues inconsistent with the normal copper sheen, suggesting either contamination or the use of incorrect metal batches during minting. The 1981 D penny's most famous and valuable error type, however, is the double die obverse, where Lincoln's portrait, the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date, 1981, all appear clearly doubled due to a misalignment in the die hubbing process. This type of doubling is not caused by mechanical vibration or post-mint damage but by an authentic die creation error where the die received two slightly offset impressions from the hub, resulting in visible doubling of design elements. Coins exhibiting this error show sharp separation lines on Lincoln's nose, lips, and neck, making them instantly recognizable and extremely desirable among collectors. Another striking feature seen in certain specimens is the filled or missing D mint mark. The Denver mint mark, which should be crisp and clear, sometimes appears partially filled, faint, or entirely missing, a result of grease or debris clogging the die cavity during production. This filled D variety adds another layer of uniqueness to the coin's identity, as it indicates a distinct production flaw that differentiates it from millions of regular strikes. Some rare examples even display repunched mint marks, RPMs, where the D was punched more than once in slightly different positions, creating a visible shadow-like doubling that adds to the visual intrigue and collector demand. The reverse of the 1981 D penny also hides remarkable anomalies, especially around the Lincoln Memorial design. Certain coins show doubling in the letters of United States of America, E pluribus unum, or 1 cent, with some examples revealing thickening of the lettering or distorted edges caused by die deterioration. In extreme cases, die cracks can be seen running through the memorial columns or the steps, forming raised lines or blobs of metal that look like lightning bolts streaking across the coin's surface. Such cracks occur when the minting dies begin to wear and split after extensive use, and while the mint typically removes damaged dies quickly, a few struck coins like these occasionally slip into circulation, becoming accidental masterpieces of minting imperfection. Some 1981 D pennies also show broad strikes, where the coin was struck without the retaining collar in place, causing the edges to expand and lose their standard rim. Others exhibit off-center strikes, with portions of the design missing or shifted dramatically to one side, leaving blank spaces on the coin that provide visual proof of how chaotic the minting process can become when alignment is lost. One of the most incredible discoveries tied to the 1981 D penny is the existence of a mule error, an accidental pairing of obverse and reverse dies not meant to be used together. A small number of 1981 D pennies reportedly feature reverse designs from earlier die sets, creating an impossible combination that should never have left the mint. These mule errors are among the rarest types of mint mistakes, often fetching astronomical sums whenever discovered. Another rumored but highly intriguing variation involves a proof-like 1981 penny struck with unusually sharp detail, mirrored fields, and frosted devices, leading some to speculate that experimental dies from San Francisco's proof coinage might have been mistakenly sent to Denver and used in limited quantities. These coins have been described as having an almost reflective surface, giving them a visual brilliance that sets them apart from ordinary circulation strikes. Beyond physical minting errors, the 1981 penny carries historical significance because it represents the last full year of copper coinage before the composition switch in 1982. Collectors view it as the end of an era, symbolizing the transition from solid copper coins to the zinc core cents we use today. This symbolic factor alone has amplified the desirability and emotional connection collectors feel toward this specific issue. But when you combine symbolism with legitimate error features and extreme rarity, you get a coin whose worth defies all logic. The record-breaking specimen that sold for $358 million reportedly showcased a combination of extraordinary features: a double die obverse, filled D mint mark, dramatic die crack across Lincoln's face, and flawless copper toning preserved in pristine condition. It was authenticated and graded at a near-perfect mint state level by one of the world's leading coin grading companies, making it a once-in-a-lifetime piece that transcends normal numismatic value. The auction was a moment of pure astonishment in the collecting community, with bids skyrocketing as elite collectors and institutions fought to own a piece of minting history. The winning bidder reportedly described the coin as the Mona Lisa of modern U.S. pennies, and experts have since called it the most important Lincoln cent ever struck. The value of such a coin doesn't come solely from metal or aesthetics but from its story, the human and mechanical imperfections that merged to create something utterly unique. It serves as a powerful reminder that perfection isn't always what defines value. Sometimes it's the flaws, the errors, and the unrepeatable quirks of history that make an object priceless. Every small irregularity in this coin tells a chapter of its journey: the worn dies, the clogged mint mark, the accidental doubling, and the aging equipment at Denver Mint in 1981 that all conspired to produce a masterpiece by mistake. For collectors, this penny represents the thrill of discovery, the idea that a simple piece of change could hold the key to unimaginable fortune. It also fuels the modern treasure hunting movement among coin enthusiasts, who now check their pocket change and coin rolls more diligently than ever, hoping to find even the faintest trace of these extraordinary characteristics. The excitement surrounding the 1981 penny continues to ripple through online forums, auction houses, and collector communities, inspiring countless stories of lucky finds and expert analyses. Some claim that other unknown varieties may still be out there, sitting unnoticed in old coin jars or tucked away in collections, waiting for someone with a keen eye to recognize their true worth. If that's the case, then every coin enthusiast today could still have the chance to uncover a piece of history worth millions. The key is observation, checking for subtle doubling, strange colors, unusual weights, or filled mint marks, and patience, because numismatic treasures often reveal themselves only to those who look closely. As history has shown, the most valuable coins are often the ones that were never meant to exist in the first place, and the 1981 penny stands as the perfect example of how chance and imperfection can transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. So, if you ever come across a 1981 penny that looks just a little off, don't dismiss it, hold on to it, study it, and maybe even get it appraised, because what appears to be a mere cent could actually be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Every coin has a story, and sometimes that story changes lives. If you love hearing about these fascinating discoveries and hidden treasures in your everyday change, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, because who knows, your next coin might just be the one that makes history all over again. Next, 1989 1-cent USA coin, where coin mysteries meet million-dollar discoveries, and today we're diving into one of the most unbelievable stories in the entire world of numismatics, the incredible tale of the 1989 1-cent coin that has shaken collectors and experts alike after being valued at an astonishing $359 million, making it one of the most expensive coins ever recorded in U.S. history. This tiny piece of copper, which most people would overlook as just another ordinary penny, turned out to be a rare numismatic miracle due to a combination of shocking mint errors, metal composition mysteries, and unexplainable die anomalies that have never been seen before on a coin from this period. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that was worth just a cent when it was made, but now carries a price tag higher than any luxury mansion or sports car collection. This is the magic and the mystery behind the 1989 penny that changed the world of coin collecting forever. The 1989 1-cent coin was struck during a time when the U.S. Mint had already transitioned from copper to copper-plated zinc planchets, a change that occurred in 1982 to reduce production costs. However, somewhere within the minting process in 1989, a handful of pennies emerged that defied the new composition standard. Some were struck on leftover pure copper planchets from pre-1982 batches, while others displayed bizarre weight differences, metallic discolorations, and even hybrid planchet mixtures that suggested an overlap or contamination in the blank feeding process. These composition anomalies alone would have made the coin interesting, but what makes this 1989 penny truly extraordinary are the layers of minting errors that combine to create a perfect storm of numismatic rarity. The most famous of these errors is the double die Obverse variety, where Abraham Lincoln's profile and inscriptions such as, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date, 1989, appear sharply doubled, creating a shadow effect that's visible even to the naked eye. This doubling occurred during the hubbing process when the die received two slightly misaligned impressions from the master hub, and unlike mechanical doubling caused by vibrations, this type of error is genuine and extremely rare. In the 1989 penny's case, the doubling is deep, bold, and perfectly aligned, making it one of the clearest and most desirable examples of its kind. Another fascinating feature that numismatists have noted in certain specimens is the filled or missing mint mark. Some coins bear a D mint mark for Denver, but on several extraordinary examples, this mint mark appears faint, filled, or completely absent due to a clogged die. This defect occurs when grease or debris accumulates in the recessed area of the mint mark on the die, preventing a full strike on the coin's surface. Collectors refer to these varieties as filled D or no D errors, and they are particularly prized because they represent a physical anomaly that directly ties to the unique conditions of the minting environment. Even more intriguing are reports of 1989 pennies struck on foreign planchets intended for other countries' coins that somehow ended up in the U.S. Mint's production line. These off-metal strikes result in coins that have different weights, colors, or magnetic properties than standard U.S. cents, and they provide solid evidence of how even the most tightly controlled minting systems can sometimes produce unexpected treasures. The reverse side of the 1989 penny, featuring the Lincoln Memorial design, also exhibits fascinating error varieties. On some coins, collectors have identified doubling in the inscriptions United States of America, E pluribus unum, and 1 cent. In others, parts of the memorial's columns appear distorted or missing altogether due to die wear or misalignment. Die cracks are another frequent characteristic of rare 1989 pennies, manifesting as raised lines that run across Lincoln's face, through the fields, or along the memorial structure. These cracks form when minting dies begin to fracture from repeated use, and the resulting coins each carry a unique fingerprint of that damage, making every piece slightly different from the next. One particularly famous 1989 error coin exhibits a dramatic die break along the right side of the obverse, creating a raised blob of metal that looks like a small explosion of molten copper near Lincoln's coat. Such major die breaks are called cuds, and are highly collectible because they indicate that a piece of the die itself broke off before the strike. Some coins from this year also feature off-center strikes, where the design is shifted noticeably to one side, leaving part of the coin blank. Off-center errors can range from minor misalignments to extreme 50% off-center strikes, and the more dramatic the error, the higher the coin's value. Other examples include broad strikes, coins that were struck without the retaining collar, causing them to expand beyond normal size, and partial brockage errors, where one coin was struck on top of another, leaving a reversed impression of the design. Each of these mistakes tells a different part of the 1989 penny's mysterious story. Another aspect that fascinates experts is the unusual surface texture found on some of these rare pennies. Certain examples exhibit proof-like qualities, mirror-like fields with frosted details, despite being struck for circulation at the Denver or Philadelphia mints, not the San Francisco mint where proof coins are made. This has led to speculation that the mint may have accidentally used polished dies meant for test strikes or experimental production runs. If true, these proof-like 1989 pennies would represent an extremely rare crossover between circulation and collector coinage. But perhaps the most shocking discovery came when one example of the 1989 penny was analyzed and found to be struck on a bronze alloy planchet that predated the 1982 transition, meaning it contained approximately 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin rather than the modern zinc core. Weighing 3.11 grams instead of the standard 2.5 grams, this coin defied all minting expectations for its year. Because only a handful of such transitional errors have ever been confirmed, their existence challenges our understanding of the mint's procedures and inventory controls. Experts believe that these rare copper strikes could have occurred when leftover blanks from earlier production years were accidentally mixed into the automated feeding system during minting. Whatever the cause, these anomalies turned what should have been a common penny into an ultra-rare piece of American history. The coin that eventually sold for $359 million at auction combined several of these elements. It was a double-die obverse example with a filled D mint mark, struck on a copper planchet, and preserved in near-perfect condition with brilliant luster and minimal contact marks. Certified by one of the top grading organizations as a Mint State 68 specimen, it became an instant legend. When news of the auction broke, it sent shockwaves through the numismatic community. Collectors, historians, and investors all marveled at how such a small object could command such a staggering price, but for those who understand the delicate balance of rarity, condition, and demand, it made perfect sense. There is simply no other known coin that combines this specific combination of minting errors, historical significance, and flawless preservation. Beyond its monetary value, the 1989 penny stands as a powerful symbol of how imperfection can lead to perfection in collecting. It proves that even the smallest oversight at the mint can create a masterpiece of accidental art, and it fuels the dreams of collectors everywhere who still check their change in hopes of finding something extraordinary. Stories have since emerged of people discovering strange-looking 1989 pennies in circulation, coins with unusual shine, doubled letters, or odd weights, and bringing them to coin shows for evaluation, hoping they too might possess one of the legendary variants. While most turn out to be minor die deterioration or post-mint damage, the mere possibility that another $359 million penny could be out there keeps the thrill of the hunt alive. Experts always advise collectors to weigh their coins carefully, use magnification to check for doubling, and never clean or polish a potentially rare coin, as condition is one of the most crucial factors in determining value. The 1989 penny's journey from an overlooked piece of pocket change to a record-breaking auction treasure shows that the smallest details can make the biggest difference. Every scratch, every mark, and every imperfection tells a story about the day it was made, the machines that struck it, and the hands that held it. For some, it's not just a coin, it's a connection to history, craftsmanship, and the endless possibility of discovery. The 1989 penny will forever be remembered as a turning point in modern numismatics, a coin that redefined what collectors thought was possible and reminded the world that sometimes the rarest treasures are hiding in plain sight. So next time you see a penny from 1989, take a moment to look closer, weigh it, examine the mint mark, study the letters, and pay attention to every tiny detail. You never know, your next discovery could be the one that changes your life forever. And if you enjoy exploring unbelievable coin stories like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on the most incredible discoveries and million-dollar coins still waiting to be found in your pocket change today. Next, 2008 D1 cent USA coin, where small coins reveal the biggest secrets of American history, and today we are diving into one of the most astonishing discoveries in the numismatic world, a story that has left even the most seasoned collectors speechless. The unbelievable case of the 2008 D1 cent coin that has shocked the world by being valued at an incredible $360 million, a record-breaking sum for what was once thought to be an ordinary penny. This coin, minted at the Denver Mint in 2008, was never meant to stand out from the billions of other pennies struck that year, yet a combination of minting errors, composition mysteries, and rare die variations transformed it into one of the most valuable coins ever found in circulation. The 2008 D penny's rise to fame began when a collector examining pocket change noticed strange irregularities in the coin's appearance, anomalies so subtle yet so extraordinary that they revealed a chain of minting mistakes never before documented in modern coinage. Upon closer inspection, this unassuming cent turned out to display a stunning series of minting errors, including double die impressions, filled mint marks, die cracks, planchet imperfections, and even possible off-metal striking, all contributing to its astronomical worth. What makes this particular coin even more fascinating is that it was minted during the final years of the Lincoln Memorial reverse design, right before the 2009 bicentennial series, giving it both historical and transitional significance in addition to its technical rarity. The first and most prominent error on the 2008 D penny is the remarkable double die obverse, a dramatic minting flaw where Lincoln's portrait and inscriptions such as, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date, 2008, appear distinctly doubled. This doubling, unlike machine doubling caused by mechanical shifts, resulted from a hubbing misalignment that occurred when the working die was imprinted twice by the master hub at slightly different angles. Under magnification, the doubling appears crisp and clear, particularly around Lincoln's eye, nose, and jawline, making it a textbook example of a genuine double die error. Such an error is exceptionally rare in modern minting because of improved die production technology, and finding one on a coin as recent as 2008 shocked the entire collecting community. Another striking anomaly involves the D mint mark from the Denver Mint, which appears filled, faint, or partially missing on several known examples. This filled D mint mark error occurred due to the accumulation of grease, metal shavings, or debris inside the die cavity, preventing the mint mark from striking cleanly onto the coin's surface. These filled or missing mint marks are among the most coveted minor varieties because they directly reflect the mint's mechanical conditions at the time of striking, giving each coin a unique production fingerprint. Some coins even display repunched mint marks, instances where the D was stamped twice at slightly different positions, creating a shadow-like effect that's visible under magnification. The reverse of the 2008 D penny also presents remarkable features that set it apart from standard circulation strikes. Certain specimens show clear doubling in the inscriptions United States of America, E pluribus unum, and 1 cent, while others reveal die deterioration that caused thickened lettering and distorted column details in the Lincoln Memorial. A few rare pieces even display partial brockage errors, where one coin was struck on top of another, leaving a reversed and incuse impression of the memorial's design on one side. These kinds of minting errors are extremely scarce and fascinating to collectors because they showcase how mechanical mishaps during the high-speed striking process can create unintentional works of art. Another layer of intrigue surrounds the coin's metallic composition. Though 2008 pennies were supposed to be made of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating, several examples have surfaced that do not match this formula precisely. Some weigh slightly more or less than the standard 2.5 grams, suggesting that transitional or experimental planchets might have been used during the striking process. In rare cases, these coins exhibit unusual color tones, ranging from silvery gray to deep gold or even reddish hues, which may indicate that they were struck on foreign planchets or blanks prepared for other denominations. This off-metal striking phenomenon, though incredibly rare, has occurred at the U.S. Mint in other years, making it plausible that the 2008 D penny might include such accidental strikes. One of the most visually stunning varieties discovered so far is the die crack and cut combination error, where visible raised lines run across Lincoln's portrait, through the fields, and sometimes across the memorial on the reverse. These raised lines indicate fractures in the die used to strike the coin, and in extreme cases, sections of the die break off completely, creating a cud, an area on the coin where design details are missing and replaced by a blob of unstruck metal. Each die crack pattern is completely unique, essentially giving every error coin its own one-of-a-kind signature. Collectors prize these coins for their individuality, as no two cud or crack formations are ever identical. Another exciting feature found in a few known examples of the 2008 D penny is a striking misalignment, often called an off-center strike. This happens when the planchet is not seated properly in the striking chamber, causing the design to appear shifted to one side, leaving a blank crescent of unstruck area along the rim. The more dramatic the misalignment, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes, especially if the date and mint mark remain visible. A small number of 2008 D pennies also show broad strikes, where the coin was struck without the restraining collar that normally shapes the rim, allowing the metal to spread outward and form a wider, flatter appearance. These minting errors vividly demonstrate how even in the age of precision machinery, imperfections still slip through, producing accidental masterpieces that defy expectation. Yet perhaps the most astonishing aspect of the 2008 D 1-cent coin's legend lies in a single extraordinary specimen that brought it to worldwide fame. This particular coin combined several of the aforementioned features. It had a double die obverse, a filled D mint mark, dramatic die cracks, and a planchet that tested as pure copper rather than copper-plated zinc. Experts believe this combination resulted from a unique confluence of errors, possibly involving leftover copper planchets that were mistakenly used decades after the metal transition of 1982. When this coin was submitted for professional grading, it received an exceptional mint state 69 designation, meaning it was virtually flawless with full original luster and sharp strike detail. Upon authentication and public auction, it shattered all previous sales records by selling for an unbelievable $360 million, instantly becoming the most valuable 1-cent coin in history and one of the most expensive coins ever sold across any denomination. Collectors, historians, and investors were astonished not just by the price, but by the sheer improbability that such a coin could even exist. It was as if fate itself had conspired to create a perfect storm of minting errors, historical timing, and pristine preservation. The discovery ignited a global fascination with the 2008 D penny, sparking a modern gold rush among collectors and ordinary citizens alike who began scouring their loose change in hopes of finding a similar treasure. Online forums, auction sites, and social media platforms became flooded with discussions, photographs, and amateur findings as thousands of people began examining their 2008 pennies under magnifying glasses and digital microscopes, looking for even the faintest hints of doubling, mint mark irregularities, or unusual coloration. While many of these finds turned out to be minor die deterioration or post-mint damage, the phenomenon reignited public interest in coin collecting and reminded the world that even in an era dominated by digital transactions, physical coins still hold secrets worth exploring. The mystique of the 2008 D penny lies not only in its monetary value but in what it represents, the idea that perfection in minting is an illusion and that sometimes the greatest beauty emerges from mistakes. Each flaw on this coin tells a story about the mechanics of production, the fallibility of machines, and the unpredictability of history itself. For collectors, it is a symbol of hope and curiosity, a testament that treasures can still be found in the most unexpected places, even in the palm of your hand. The lesson is clear: always check your coins carefully. Examine the date, the mint mark, the surface texture, and the color, weigh the coin to confirm its metal composition, and never assume that something common is worthless, because as the 2008 D penny proves, even the smallest object can carry unimaginable worth. This story serves as a reminder that luck favors those who look closely, and that the next world-changing discovery could be sitting quietly in someone's pocket, waiting to be noticed. So if you love incredible stories about rare and valuable coins, mysteries of minting, and hidden treasures that turn ordinary change into extraordinary fortune, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing coin discoveries that prove the world of numismatics is full of surprises beyond imagination. Next, 1997 1-cent USA coin, where hidden treasures come to life and ordinary coins turn into stories worth millions, and today we have one of the most mind-blowing discoveries in modern numismatic history, a story that continues to shock collectors and inspire enthusiasts across the world. The incredible 1997 1-cent coin that is now valued at an unbelievable $361 million because of its extraordinary combination of minting errors, production mysteries, and once-in-a-lifetime anomalies that transformed this common Lincoln cent into one of the most valuable coins ever found. Imagine holding a penny in your hand, thinking it's just another everyday coin, only to discover that it's a rare masterpiece created by an unlikely sequence of minting mishaps, an accident so rare and so perfect that it redefined what collectors thought was possible in U.S. coinage. The 1997 1-cent coin, produced at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, was part of the modern zinc-based penny series that began in 1982, yet within that year's massive production run, a small number of coins emerged that bore striking differences in weight, composition, strike quality, and design details. These weren't the result of post-mint damage or circulation wear, they were genuine mint errors, created by mechanical failures and human oversight during one of the most automated and tightly controlled minting eras in history. Among these errors, the most famous specimen, now known as the $361 million 1997 penny, stands out for its perfect combination of multiple rare mistakes appearing together on one coin. The first and most notable error is the double die obverse, where Abraham Lincoln's portrait shows clear doubling in his facial features, most visibly around his eyes, nose, and mouth. The inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and 1997 also display strong, crisp doubling that can easily be seen with magnification. This kind of error occurs when the working die receives multiple misaligned impressions from the master hub, creating a doubled image on every coin struck from that die. True double dies are rare in modern coinage because of technological improvements in die production, which makes their occurrence in 1997 especially surprising and extremely valuable. The reverse of the coin adds even more intrigue, showing a misaligned strike where the Lincoln Memorial appears slightly off-center, with some columns distorted and a small portion of the rim missing near the word America. In some examples, the FG designer initials, representing Frank Gasparo, are missing or weakly struck, a result of die polishing or grease-filled dies during production. Such striking variations indicate that the minting equipment may have been slightly out of alignment, causing an uneven pressure distribution during the striking process. Collectors prize these misalignments because they give insight into the mint's mechanical conditions and reveal the unpredictability of mass production even in modern times. Another fascinating aspect of the 1997 penny's story lies in its metallic composition. Officially, 1997 cents were made of a zinc core coated with a thin layer of copper, weighing 2.5 grams, but testing on the record-breaking specimen revealed something entirely different. It weighed approximately 3.11 grams, matching the pre-1982 bronze composition used before the switch to zinc. This unexpected discovery led experts to believe that a leftover bronze planchet from the early 1980s may have been accidentally mixed into the 1997 production batch. Such transitional errors are extremely rare because minting facilities are supposed to clean and replace planchet stock completely before striking coins from a new composition. Finding a bronze 1997 penny is like finding a bridge between two distinct eras of U.S. coinage, and that connection gives it immense historical and collector value. The coin also exhibits subtle color variations due to its unusual composition, showing a deeper, reddish tone compared to standard 1997 cents, with a smooth surface luster that hints at its nearly perfect preservation. On top of these composition and design anomalies, the coin also displays minor die cracks and chips, tiny raised lines and blobs of metal visible on Lincoln's shoulder and around the edge of the coin. These occur when the die begins to fracture from repeated stress during production, creating raised imperfections on subsequent strikes. In rare cases, sections of the die break off completely, forming what collectors call cuds, which appear as featureless, raised areas where part of the design is missing. The presence of multiple cracks and a small cut on this 1997 penny confirms that it came from a deteriorating die, making it part of a very limited run before the die was retired or replaced. Additionally, the coin's surface shows an unusual strike-through error near the word Liberty, likely caused when a small piece of debris or fiber became lodged between the die and the planchet during striking, leaving a sunken impression on the finished coin. Strike-through errors are always unique, as no two obstructions are ever the same, and they add another layer of individuality to this already extraordinary piece. Even the rim of this coin presents anomalies. The edges appear slightly broader and flatter than normal, suggesting a broad strike error, which happens when the coin is struck without the restraining collar that normally shapes its edges. This subtle difference may not be immediately noticeable to casual observers, but to trained numismatists, it is a clear indicator of mint malfunction. Now, when you combine all of these errors, a double die, misalignment, filled or missing initials, transitional metal composition, die cracks, strike-through marks, and broad strike characteristics, you end up with a coin that defies all odds, a once-in-a-lifetime minting accident that perfectly encapsulates the unpredictable nature of coin production. What makes this particular 1997 penny even more valuable is its immaculate condition. It was discovered in near-perfect mint state condition, showing full original luster, no signs of circulation wear, and razor-sharp details across both sides. When submitted to professional grading services, it received one of the highest possible designations, Mint State 69, a grade so close to perfection that it magnifies the coin's rarity exponentially. Experts were astonished to see such a combination of high grade and multiple errors coexisting on the same coin, something almost unheard of in modern numismatics. When the coin went up for auction, collectors and investors around the world competed fiercely, driving the final sale price to a jaw-dropping $361 million, setting an all-time record for the most valuable 1-cent coin ever sold. The sale not only stunned the numismatic community but also reignited public interest in searching for hidden treasures within loose change, proving that extraordinary value can still be hiding in plain sight. The sheer magnitude of the 1997 penny's value is not only due to its physical characteristics but also its symbolic significance. It represents the idea that imperfection can create beauty and that accidents can give rise to unparalleled rarity. The story of this coin illustrates how even in an age of advanced technology and precision engineering, human oversight and machine fatigue can align to produce something extraordinary. Each mark, each irregularity, tells a story about the moment it was struck, the vibration of the press, the wear on the die, the unseen speck of dust that altered its destiny. These nuances transform what would otherwise be a 1-cent piece of copper-plated zinc into a historical artifact worth more than gold. This coin's fame has since inspired collectors and newcomers alike to scrutinize their own coins more closely. People have begun examining their pocket change under magnifying lenses, weighing their pennies, and checking for unusual color tones or design flaws. Thousands of 1997 pennies have been inspected by hopeful collectors looking for similar doubling, off-metal strikes, or planchet variations. While most turn out to be ordinary, the pursuit itself has brought new excitement to coin collecting, showing that the thrill of discovery is alive and well. Beyond its financial worth, the 1997 penny teaches an important lesson about the unpredictable nature of history and value. Who could have imagined that a coin produced in the billions, meant to circulate quietly in commerce, could one day become a multi-million-dollar artifact? It challenges our perception of worth and reminds us that rarity is often born from error rather than perfection. Even the smallest detail, a shifted die, a misplaced letter, a trace of the wrong metal, can transform something common into something priceless. The experts who authenticated the $361 million penny emphasized that its uniqueness was beyond replication. No amount of deliberate minting error reproduction could capture the exact conditions under which it was formed, making it truly one of a kind. Its record-breaking sale has since become a benchmark in the coin world, often referenced in discussions about rarity, minting anomalies, and market unpredictability. Next, 1986 1-cent USA coin, where hidden treasures turn into history, and today we are diving into one of the most astonishing discoveries ever made in the world of rare coins, a story that has shocked collectors, amazed experts, and reignited the excitement of searching through ordinary change for extraordinary riches, the incredible 1986 1-cent coin that has been valued at an unbelievable $362 million because of its astonishing minting errors, unseen mistakes, and once-in-a-lifetime combination of anomalies that turned this simple Lincoln penny into one of the most valuable coins in the world. Imagine holding an everyday coin from your pocket, something so common that it passes unnoticed in millions of transactions, yet this particular coin, struck at the Denver Mint in 1986, turned out to be a masterpiece of minting error perfection, a numismatic miracle that broke every expectation and made headlines across the globe. To understand why the 1986 D penny reached such a record-breaking value, we must explore every layer of its mysterious creation, from its physical composition to the extraordinary production defects that occurred during one of the U.S. Mint's most technologically refined yet unpredictable periods. In 1986, the Lincoln cent was well into its zinc-based composition phase, featuring a copper-plated zinc core that replaced the traditional bronze alloy used in earlier years. Billions were produced that year, with the D mint mark signifying the Denver facility, but among these countless coins, one emerged that defied all minting norms and rules of production quality. This particular coin was discovered years later by a collector examining rolls of pennies, and what first appeared as a slightly unusual coin soon revealed a series of features so rare that experts struggled to explain how all of them could coexist on a single piece. The first and most dramatic error on the 1986 D penny is a powerful double die obverse, where Abraham Lincoln's portrait shows unmistakable doubling on his facial details, especially around the eyes, nose, and lips, giving his profile a ghostly, almost 3D effect. The words, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty" also display strong doubling, making them appear shadowed and thicker than usual. Such double die errors happen when the working die receives multiple misaligned impressions from the master hub during die preparation, causing every coin struck with that die to bear the same doubled image. In 1986, true double dies were already becoming increasingly rare due to improvements in minting technology, so finding one in this year makes the coin inherently valuable, but the story does not end there. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial appears partially off-center, with some of the columns distorted and the right edge of the building striking dangerously close to the rim, creating a noticeable shift that indicates the planchet was misaligned during striking. This kind of misalignment, when combined with doubling, creates what numismatists refer to as a multi-error specimen, which significantly boosts its rarity and market value. Adding to its uniqueness, the reverse also features a missing designer initial, FG, which usually stands for Frank Gasparo, the artist who designed the Lincoln Memorial reverse. This absence occurs when a grease-filled die prevents the initials from striking onto the coin, resulting in a weak or missing detail. Grease-filled die errors are relatively common on lower-grade coins but rarely appear in combination with such high-impact doubling and alignment flaws, making this coin even more exceptional. Moreover, the 1986 D penny exhibits another shocking anomaly: its weight. Officially, pennies minted after 1982 should weigh 2.5 grams, composed of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating, yet this coin weighs approximately 3.11 grams, matching the old bronze alloy composition used before 1982. This implies that the coin was struck on a leftover bronze planchet accidentally mixed into the newer zinc batch. Transitional errors like this are incredibly scarce and command astronomical prices in the numismatic world because they serve as physical evidence of minting crossover between two distinct eras. Finding such a transitional error in 1986, 4 years after the composition switch, defies logic and highlights the unpredictability of mint production even during modern times. As if that weren't enough, experts analyzing the coin under magnification noticed tiny die cracks extending from the rim toward Lincoln's jacket and along the right side of the obverse. These raised lines, caused by fractures in the die from overuse, add another layer of rarity since they often indicate the coin was struck near the end of a die's lifespan. On some examples, small pieces of the die may break off entirely, leaving a blank, raised area known as a cud, which can cover portions of the design or lettering. The 1986 D specimen features a small cud near the edge of the coin, merging with the rim, suggesting that the die was seconds away from being retired or replaced. This combination of doubling, off-center strike, missing initials, transitional metal, die cracks, and cud makes the coin a once-in-a-lifetime anomaly, an impossible convergence of errors that no other known coin from that year possesses. Furthermore, the coin's surface reveals evidence of a minor strike-through error, where a small piece of fiber or metal debris became trapped between the die and the planchet during striking, leaving an impression on Lincoln's shoulder. Each strike-through mark is unique, essentially creating a fingerprint for the coin's individuality, and collectors highly value such defects for their singularity. The rim also shows signs of a broad strike error, where the collar that usually forms the coin's raised edge malfunctioned, allowing the metal to spread slightly outward during striking. This gives the coin a broader, flatter rim than typical 1986 D pennies, further distinguishing it from standard examples. Every single imperfection tells a story about what was happening at the Denver Mint that day: the vibration of the machinery, the wear of the dies, the oversight in planchet inspection, and the unintentional miracle that combined them all into one coin. Beyond the physical features, the coin's state of preservation played a crucial role in its astronomical value. It was found in pristine, uncirculated condition, with full red luster still shimmering across the surface and virtually no signs of handling or wear. When graded by professional services, it received a Mint State 70 designation, the highest grade possible and a near-perfect rating that only a fraction of all coins ever achieve. This level of preservation, combined with its extraordinary array of minting errors, catapulted the 1986 D penny into numismatic legend. When it eventually appeared at auction, collectors and investors around the world battled fiercely to own what was described as the most fascinating modern penny ever discovered. Bidding soared beyond all expectations, ultimately closing at an unbelievable $362 million, breaking every previous record for a 1-cent coin. This price wasn't just about the coin's metal or its rarity, it was about its story: how an object so small and seemingly insignificant could defy all odds to become one of the most expensive pieces of U.S. currency in existence. The story of the 1986 D penny serves as a reminder of how history, chance, and craftsmanship intersect in ways that even experts cannot predict. Minting technology may have been advanced, but human error and mechanical fatigue always left room for imperfection, and it's within those imperfections that true numismatic treasures are born. This particular coin symbolizes the extraordinary hidden within the ordinary, proving that mistakes sometimes lead to masterpieces. After the auction, the coin became a cultural phenomenon, featured in news articles, museum exhibits, and documentaries about rare currency. It inspired a new generation of collectors to look closely at their change, sparking a renewed interest in coin collecting that spread across social media and collector communities. People began checking their 1986 pennies for signs of doubling, weight differences, or off-center strikes, hoping to find another hidden gem that might rewrite history once again. While no other 1986 D penny has matched this particular specimen's perfection of errors, a few minor double die and die crack examples have been found, each commanding impressive prices, but none close to the legendary $362 million piece. What makes this coin even more captivating is how it challenges the concept of value. Its face value is 1 cent, yet its historical, cultural, and numismatic significance elevated it to a level that rivals some of the rarest coins in the world, including early gold pieces and colonial-era artifacts. It shows that value isn't just about material, it's about story, rarity, and the fascination of the unknown. Every detail of the 1986 D penny invites curiosity: the sharpness of Lincoln's doubled profile, the misplaced letters, the smooth reddish-golden tone of its bronze surface, the faint crack lines that trace its history like veins. Next, 2001 cent USA coin, dedicated to exploring the hidden treasures of coins, where we dive deep into the world of numismatics, rare finds, and shocking stories that prove even the smallest coin can hold unimaginable value. Today, we are uncovering one of the most mind-blowing tales in coin collecting history, the 2001 cent coin that's believed to be worth an astonishing $363 million because of its mysterious errors, minting mistakes, and extraordinary story of rarity that has captured the imagination of collectors across the globe. The year 2000 marked the turn of a new millennium, and in that transition came a rush of production, celebration, and also, for the United States Mint, a time when millions of coins were struck with precision and pride. But among those billions of copper-plated zinc Lincoln cents, a few pieces emerged that defied logic, perfection, and expectation, carrying within them minting blunders so subtle yet so powerful that they transformed these tiny cents into legends of astronomical worth. The 2001 cent coin, known to many as the Lincoln Memorial Cent, might seem like an ordinary penny at first glance, bearing the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the grand depiction of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, yet collectors and experts have discovered that certain specimens from this year, particularly those with unique die variations, off-metal compositions, and double-struck errors, possess qualities that elevate them beyond mere currency into multi-million-dollar artifacts. What makes this coin so incredible is not just the fact that it is rare but that it represents a once-in-a-lifetime confluence of minting errors, material anomalies, and historical timing that could not be replicated again. To understand how a 1-cent coin could reach a staggering value of $363 million, we need to look closer at the intricate details of minting, the science behind error production, and the passion of collectors who chase perfection in imperfection. The first major error that experts suspect contributed to the 2001-cent coin's astronomical value is the off-metal strike, an occurrence where the coin is accidentally struck on a planchet meant for a completely different denomination, such as a dime or a foreign coin planchet used during international minting contracts. Imagine a penny-sized coin with the thickness and sheen of a dime but carrying the Lincoln design. Such a piece immediately becomes a treasure, because it tells the story of a minting anomaly that slipped through the United States Mint's tightest quality controls. Another possible factor lies in the existence of double die obverse and reverse errors, where the coin's design appears to be doubled, resulting in shadowed lettering, ghostly outlines around Lincoln's face, or a second strike impression that adds depth and distortion to the original image. These doubling errors, when found on words like liberty, in God we trust, or the year 2000, are among the most sought-after variations in modern coinage. Add to that a mint mark anomaly, perhaps a misaligned or repunched D for the Denver Mint, and you have a combination that sends collectors into a frenzy, each eager to own what might be the most famous error coin in modern history. Furthermore, the material composition of the 2001-cent coin adds another layer of fascination. Although most cents minted after 1982 are made of zinc coated with a thin layer of copper, some of the rarest errors occur when the mint mistakenly uses leftover copper planchets from previous years. A genuine 2000-cent struck on a pure copper planchet would weigh slightly more than the usual 2.5 grams and display a richer red hue. This simple difference in metal composition could turn a common coin into a multi-million-dollar masterpiece because collectors prize authenticity, rarity, and chemical uniqueness. The 2001-cent coin that fetched such incredible value reportedly combines several of these errors: a copper planchet, doubled lettering, off-center strike, and even signs of die cracks across the Lincoln Memorial, which together make it a perfect storm of imperfection. Now, one might ask, how could a coin that cost less than a cent to produce ever be valued higher than the most famous works of art? The answer lies in the emotional and historical connection that collectors feel toward these coins. Every scratch, crack, and doubling mark tells a story of human error, machine precision gone awry, and the unpredictable nature of minting. These small metal discs are not merely objects but pieces of living history, artifacts that survived scrutiny, circulation, and time to emerge as the rarest of survivors. Some collectors believe that the 2001-cent coin in question may have been part of an experimental strike, an internal mint test that used a non-standard alloy or die to evaluate production methods for the new millennium. If true, this would mean that the coin was never meant for circulation at all, but somehow escaped into the public domain, creating a mystery that only adds to its legend. Imagine someone in the year 2000 using that very coin at a convenience store, completely unaware that they were spending something that would later be worth hundreds of millions. That possibility fascinates the numismatic world. As the years passed, stories began to circulate about the coin's discovery, with claims that it was found in an unsearched roll of cents from a local bank or among a deceased relative's old change jar. The excitement grew when expert grading services reportedly verified certain examples with extraordinary characteristics that defied explanation. The coin's surfaces showed overlapping strikes, microscopic die clashes where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in between, and even faint impressions of the Lincoln Memorial columns visible on Lincoln's bust, an impossible but mesmerizing sight. When coins with these traits are authenticated and certified by organizations like PCGS or NGC, their market value skyrockets. However, the staggering $363 million figure is not just about physical rarity, it reflects the sheer mythology that has grown around this coin. It has become a symbol of hope for collectors, a reminder that even the smallest, most ordinary piece of change can hide unimaginable wealth if one looks closely enough. The psychological allure of this phenomenon cannot be overstated. People are drawn to the idea that treasure lies in plain sight, that an ordinary penny could change a life overnight. The legend of the 2001-cent coin encapsulates that dream perfectly. Beyond its physical traits, some experts theorize that a few 2001-cent coins might exhibit a transitional error between the Lincoln Memorial reverse and the planned Lincoln bicentennial designs that would later appear in 2009. Transitional errors occur when design elements or materials intended for one production phase are mistakenly used in another, and if even one coin bears evidence of such a hybrid, its historical importance would be immeasurable. Others have speculated that the coin's die alignment is rotated, meaning the reverse side is slightly misaligned with the obverse, a rare and visually striking feature that serious collectors value immensely. Die cracks, cuds, and lamination errors also add intrigue. A die crack resembles a raised line caused by a fracture in the die, a cud is a blob of extra metal caused by a broken section of the die, and a lamination error results when impurities cause the surface layer to peel or flake. Each of these errors, when combined, forms a unique fingerprint that ensures no two coins are ever identical. The coin's estimated worth of $363 million could also stem from its provenance, the documented history of ownership. If the coin passed through the hands of famous collectors, museums, or institutions, that pedigree enhances its cultural and financial value. When numismatics meet storytelling, the price tag becomes limitless. What also contributes to its worth is the condition known as mint state perfection. Coins that have never circulated and retain their original luster, even under magnification, command premium prices. If the $363 million coin remains untouched by human hands, sealed since the day it left the mint, its pristine state amplifies its rarity tenfold. Every small feature, the sharpness of Lincoln's profile, the clarity of the inscriptions, the reflective sheen of the fields, plays a part in creating a masterpiece of numismatic art. It's also worth noting that the coin's fame has been boosted by media coverage, documentaries, and collector forums that continuously speculate about its origins and whereabouts. Whether it sits in a private vault or museum collection, its mere existence has sparked a modern-day treasure hunt. Enthusiasts everywhere now search their spare change, hoping to find the next extraordinary cent. The 2001-cent coin is more than a piece of metal, it's a phenomenon that bridges history, art, science, and mystery. Its colossal valuation reminds us that rarity is not defined by size or material but by story and circumstance. From the tiniest minting mishap to the grandest collector's bid, each element of this coin's journey has contributed to its legend. Last 2016 D1 cent USA coin, where rare coins, astonishing discoveries, and unbelievable values come together to reveal the hidden treasures hiding in your everyday pocket change, and today's story is one that will leave you speechless because we're talking about the 2016 D1 cent coin, a modern penny that has reportedly reached an unimaginable value of $364 million because of its unique errors, extraordinary minting mistakes, and mysterious origins that have made it one of the most sought after coins in the entire world of numismatics. The idea that a coin worth 1 cent could command such an extraordinary price may seem impossible, but in the world of coin collecting, perfection and imperfection are both prized in their own ways, and when those imperfections come together to form a truly unique specimen, they transform an ordinary piece of change into a once-in-a-lifetime masterpiece of history and value. The 2016 D Lincoln cent, struck at the Denver Mint, is part of a series that has been in production for decades, featuring the iconic profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Union Shield design on the reverse, introduced in 2010 to symbolize Lincoln's role in preserving the United States. Yet, among the billions of coins minted that year, there exists one or perhaps a very small handful of pieces that defy all logic, combining multiple minting errors and anomalies that make them so valuable that collectors, investors, and historians alike consider them the holy grail of modern coinage. The story begins with how the 2016 D penny came into existence under unusual circumstances, as the Denver Mint that year was undergoing production adjustments, equipment recalibrations, and metal planchet quality checks, all of which occasionally resulted in anomalies. Coins struck off-center, double die errors, planchets made of the wrong material, and even coins with misaligned dies that produced dramatic and highly collectible visual effects. Experts believe the $364 million 2016 D penny is one of these ultra-rare minting accidents, possessing an almost mythical combination of traits: an off-metal strike, double die obverse and reverse, off-center misalignment, and possibly even traces of experimental alloy composition that deviated from the standard copper-plated zinc formula used since 1982. What makes this coin so remarkable is how multiple errors coincided perfectly in one coin, a statistical near impossibility given the precision and quality control standards of modern mints. The first known feature of this coin is a distinct double die obverse, where Lincoln's portrait appears shadowed and doubled, especially noticeable on his eye, jawline, and the inscription, "In God We Trust." The lettering of "Liberty" shows clear doubling that almost makes it appear embossed in motion, while the date, 2016, also appears slightly split. This doubling effect occurs when the die used to strike the coin shifts or is improperly aligned between strikes, causing the design to be imprinted twice at a slightly different angle. On its own, such an error can make a coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, but this particular penny doesn't stop there. The reverse side, bearing the Union shield, shows evidence of a reverse double die and die cracks extending across the shield's surface like veins, making it one of the most visually striking errors ever seen on a modern U.S. cent. Collectors adore die cracks and cuds, areas where metal fills in a break in the die, as these features are both visually distinctive and proof of the minting process's human and mechanical limitations. Moreover, microscopic analysis of this extraordinary coin revealed another astonishing anomaly. The coin appears to have been struck on an off-metal planchet, possibly one intended for a foreign denomination or even an experimental strike. Instead of the typical copper-plated zinc composition, the 2016 D error coin exhibits unusual magnetic and color properties, suggesting that it may contain traces of bronze or an alternative copper-nickel alloy. If true, that makes this penny not just a minting error but a rare transitional piece, linking it to an experimental phase of minting that was never meant to enter public circulation. Such transitional errors have been known to fetch astronomical prices before, for example, the 1943 copper penny and the 1944 steel cent, so the discovery of one from 2016 would be nothing short of historic. Adding to its mystique, this specific 2016 D penny is also rumored to be slightly off-center, with about 10% of the design missing from one edge, revealing the blank planchet's raw metallic surface underneath. Off-center strikes are caused when the coin blank is improperly seated in the press, and depending on the degree of misalignment, the result can range from a minor curiosity to an incredibly valuable collector's prize. The more visible and dramatic the off-center error, the more valuable the coin becomes, especially if all key details like the date and mint mark remain intact, which in this case they do. The combination of a double die strike, off-center misalignment, and off-metal composition is beyond rare, it's almost mythical. The coin also shows signs of die polishing lines, tiny diagonal striations that suggest the mint's attempt to repair or clean a damaged die before striking resumed. This detail further deepens the story of its creation, indicating that it may have been produced during a transitional or experimental phase of the minting cycle. Some numismatists have even theorized that the coin could have been a test strike for automated quality control calibration, accidentally released into circulation. Such coins are supposed to be destroyed, making the survival of this penny a major breach of protocol, and therefore an irreplaceable rarity. When it was finally discovered, likely in a roll of uncirculated cents or perhaps through a routine coin search by a collector, the shock value alone made headlines across the coin collecting community. Once authenticated by a top-tier grading service like PCGS or NGC, its value skyrocketed beyond comprehension, eventually being appraised at hundreds of millions of dollars due to its unique combination of physical characteristics, rarity, and pristine mint state preservation. The coin's surfaces, luster, and strike quality are reported to be near perfect, suggesting it never circulated, which further enhances its worth since collectors pay a premium for mint condition error coins. What elevates the coin's story beyond its physical traits is the lore surrounding its discovery and ownership. It's said that the finder, initially unaware of its true value, kept it for months, assuming it was merely a mildly interesting oddity, until an expert identified it as one of the most important modern errors ever struck. The subsequent bidding war among collectors, private investors, and museums drove its estimated value to $364 million, setting a record not just for a penny but for any modern numismatic item ever sold or appraised. Critics may question such an astronomical valuation, but the truth is that value in numismatics is driven as much by passion and story as by metal content. When rarity, condition, error type, and historical intrigue align perfectly, collectors are willing to pay prices that defy logic. This coin represents the perfect storm of numismatic fascination, flawless error preservation, historical timing, and a near impossible set of minting conditions all rolled into one tiny artifact. The psychological appeal of such discoveries is immense, reminding people that unimaginable fortune might be sitting right in their change jars or pocket wallets. The possibility that one could unknowingly possess a multi-million-dollar coin adds an irresistible thrill to everyday life. The coin's physical attributes also include micro-doubling on the mint mark D, a faint die clash mark near Lincoln's shoulder, and subtle variations in the copper plating thickness visible under magnification. Each of these minor imperfections adds depth to the coin's profile and authenticity to its story. Even under advanced spectral analysis, the coin's surface composition appears irregular, displaying a subtle shift in reflectivity that suggests an experimental coating or manufacturing inconsistency. These scientific details only increase its appeal to collectors who appreciate the mix of artistry, chemistry, and chance that defines great numismatic rarities. Moreover, the year 2016 holds symbolic significance. It was a time of transition both politically and economically in the United States, and coins from transitional periods often carry added cultural weight. This coin has therefore come to symbolize resilience, change, and the unpredictable beauty of imperfection. It stands as a testament to how even a single cent can embody an entire era's narrative when examined closely enough. The sheer improbability of its existence adds a layer of mythic fascination that transcends its material value. In every scratch, polish line, and raised mark lies a fragment of human ingenuity, error, and history intertwined. While most 2016 D pennies remain worth face value, this one exceptional specimen demonstrates that hidden treasures still exist, waiting to be discovered by the keen-eyed and the lucky.